up, though, my G's? Y'all should know what it is. It just happens to be your GBKA Watts. And I am not alone today. I'm sitting here with...
I'm the award-winning Vigatron, and you're never alone. Never alone. All right, anyway, fuck it. Award-winning Vigatron, you know what it is. Blerds and Clips. You know, we're about to get into this whole thing of talking about, WandaVision, because, you brought me into this. So let's go ahead and get this done, because, podcast is coming, all that good stuff. So,
the podcast is on the way. And we're going to talk about WandaVision, episodes 1 through 3, for a short little recap of them things, man. If you ain't seen it yet, why? Man, I ask y'all every time I get in front of the camera, man. Like, why ain't you watch it?
Why WandaVision?
What? Why? Okay, well, listen. We don't know why in episodes 1 through 3. We do not know why WandaVision. But we know that shit is happening. And I feel like they were smart because they dropped the very first 2 episodes on the release date. 1 and 2 are 50s and 60s episodes. If you don't know, each episode, we essentially jump forward a decade.
Before we get into that, we assume that if you clicked on this, you obviously know what WandaVision is, or maybe you watched movies from the MCU. So if you did not, that would be a shame on you if you're clicking on something that you have no idea of the basis. So if you remember from the MCU movies, from any of those that you do know, from Avengers Infinity War, last time we saw Vision, he was getting that thing snapped up out his head like we want to do, Lil Uzi Vert, but that's neither here nor there.
Facts.
He's dead in a mug. So we also had Wanda being part of the snap and getting straight dusted, and then came back in Endgame. So now, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it's the 1950s, and they're doing a 1950s style show, kind of in the vein of Dick Van Dyke, I Love Lucy. Why? Why, man?
In full black and white. And I'm talking about like all the way in character. Everybody. The whole thing. So it's not like it's something that they like tiptoed us into. We just get dropped into the 50s. They are pulling up to the town in the old school family car, and that is just what we get in episode 1. We get Vision going to work and having a normal job and having to do the whole dinner for the boss and his wife, and of course magic and shenanigans ensue when they come to the house after Wanda and Vision just cannot remember what the important date is circled on the calendar.
Because they remember nothing, and the fact that y'all still used to let y'all bosses run y'all and basically be like, yeah, we're coming over for dinner and make sure you have everything right or your job depends on it. Like, how? But nonetheless, I will tell you this objectively, because of the fact that this was basically, watching this episode, it was a straight up and down sitcom from that era. So some of the jokes were hit or miss, but at the same time, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't like it. So that's neither here nor there, because of the fact that I am a fan. So I have to stick out with this just because it's what I do, and I guess for you, that maybe if you didn't watch it, maybe this will convince you to do so. So slow running, but yeah, they went through the whole thing, all the magic ensuing and everything for 1950s, and there was no real discussion other than the fact that they can't remember why they're there or how they got there in the first place, and there was some important date that they're trying to figure out. And then we get little bits and pieces at the end of the episode that obviously someone's watching whatever it is going on, but we have no clue at this point.
Because that dinner scene was literally, everything was fine until it was just, hey, where did y'all meet and why are y'all here? And they had absolutely no clue and no way to answer that, which made it a little bit weird. And then that thing wraps up with Vision having to save his boss who's choking on a random lump of food. And then it just went, everything was great. We're going to go ahead and go home. And the episode ends. No post-credit, no nothing. It was just over with. And if you have not seen the show, it's 30 minutes every single episode. But 10 whole minutes is actual credits. They do it movie style. So you get the cinematic side of it with all the elements of the actual show, and then you get just black and white credit screen for a long time. So that's kind of what's happening there.
Yeah, I don't know what y'all thought, Disney, but that doesn't count as show. So
no, it is not. But then we roll into episode 2, and we jump into the 60s. We get a Bewitched style animated opening.
Yeah,
which was
cool.
Style.
And in this episode, they start to deal with actually a lot of the people that are within the neighborhood, within the town of Westview.
Right.
We didn't bring that up. Somehow they're in Westview, New Jersey. of all places. I have no idea where it is, if it actually exists or whatever, but I ain't got time to Google. This ain't the place for that.
Too much work.
So, nonetheless, they're now here in this style, like I said, it's the 60s, mixed up Bewitched, kind of still a little bit of a Dick Van Dyke, that kind of thing.
For sure.
And they're getting to know the people that they're in with, so it's more like Vision's off with the guys and Wanda's off with the ladies of the town, and you know, they're getting to know each other, and you know, I guess probably getting their pecking order in case of finding out who's top dog or top whatever.
Right.
In that case, so
we've had the nosy neighbor Agnes in the first episode, who was there assisting for the dinner, and then she shows up here and she's taking Wanda with her to the head snoop. Her house for the show, where she's the one who basically runs everything that happens that the women are doing in the neighborhood, and she has to impress her Dottie. Now, early in this episode, we get a sound that happens outside, and right after Vision leaves, and Wanda goes out, and there is a toy helicopter outside that is in full life color. Because at this point, we're still black and white. So that's the first thing that kind of cracks in the episode. There's a magic show happening. Vision eats a piece of gum when he's out with the guys, which gums up his system, literally, because he's a robot.
Yeah, because he just had to prove to them that he could eat, because he keeps saying, like, yeah, I don't eat. And he's like, well, let me not arouse suspicion, so let me go ahead and put this gum that literally goes down and it shows his gumming up the works, i.e. comic style. So
yeah, very, very, very funny illustrated
and then
style.
basically he's drunk practically for the rest of the episode.
Right.
So then they end up going into this idea where they have to do this whole, it's like a talent show for
the neighborhood, which is for the
community.
children, which we have seen none of at this point in either of the first two episodes. No kids at all.
See, your memory is A1 Yola. That's why.
But there are no kids. But everything about the talent show is for the children. So it was definitely weird. And also at that scene, that moment where we had Wanda with Dottie talking to her, we had her cut herself with a piece of glass, and when she cut herself, Dottie cut herself with a piece of glass, her blood was also in color. Then there was somebody talking to Wanda through the radio, asking if it was a Wanda, can you hear me situation, and then all of a sudden it just snapped and stopped, went away. It was like there was a cutscene in there, which was definitely really weird. So the world is starting to crack a little bit, I feel like, in that point in episode 2. Then of course they go do the talent show. Vision is super messed up. It's like he's drunk because of the gum, but Wanda keeps using actual magic to fix the things that he is doing, which potentially could expose them for having some sort of powers for real. And they get through it by the end of the episode and are back at the house like, we did it, we made it.
Right. Spoiler alert. I ain't like this episode either.
Okay. But in the episode 2 though.
Right. By that time, after everything's all said and done, they get home for some reason, miraculously,
out of nowhere.
the same thing that Mary had to, tell Joseph, like, why am I pregnant all of a sudden? Mine is just pregnant out of nowhere.
Out of no fucking where.
Nowhere.
And
as far as I know, she got no dingling the entire first couple episodes.
None of that.
Robotic or otherwise.
None of that thing.
Right. So, yeah.
Actually, not true. Remember, they mushed the beds together.
But did they mush, though? I don't think.
Well, we don't know because it's still Marvel, so it's still TNT.
I don't know,
but she was just magically pregnant. And not just pregnant. She was like 5 months pregnant at the end of episode 2. So that was just...
You're like, what's going on?
Booyah.
Crazies.
Then they have a seat on the couch, and then all of a sudden, boom, everything turns into color, and we go into episode 3, where we are now in the 70s, and it is very obviously the Brady Bunch. Or was there anything else that they could have made? It was super.
No,
obvious.
It was mostly Brady Bunch, because I watched the Brady Bunch a lot.
Okay,
so
I feel like I did.
I definitely know that. So,
okay, so episode 3, we go into Brady Bunch.
Right.
She's super pregnant, and Vision is trying to figure out how far along she is, because he's using his super computer mind to calculate how far along she magically got out of nowhere and how far along she seems to be getting. And she starts to have like Braxton Hicks contractions and shit, and That's crazy too.
Well, it was also weird about the fact I forgot about when they were outside and they were talking to Agnes, who of course shows up every episode.
Right.
And the black guy that was there, that he was
Kurt.
cutting the wall for some reason
Yes.
with his chainsaw. And it's like, what's going on? But again,
Like, hey dog, you slicing
nobody knows.
through the cinder block wall that is between our homes, and he was just like, oh, for real? That's crazy, Prillo. just cutting through it though, like just for no reason at all. So that was happening. Then they had a weird moment. It definitely had a weird moment when he started to say something. Like Herb started to say something. He was like, yeah, because we're all, and then he just kind of froze and didn't keep talking. And then he just ended the sentence and was like, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and go in the house and get some Kool-Aid. And that was random. And Vision was like, what the hell? And in the meantime, Monica is in the house with Wanda, who has just squeezed out a kid.
Well, hold on. We don't even know that she's Monica yet at this point.
You're right.
See, got ahead of yourself.
What was her black name?
I don't remember what her black name was, but yeah, the black lady. The only black
lady. There is only one.
Right. So
there's one black dude,
there.
one black lady.
Right.
And
yeah, that's true.
Yes.
Wow.
And outside, and outside, Agnes says, oh yeah, she weird. She in there with your wife, and she ain't even got no house out here in this neighborhood. So we don't even know what she doing here or where she from.
We don't like your kind around here. That's basically what they were trying to say. But
except he's okay. But you know what? It's all right. So Vision goes back in the house, and she has delivered. She helped Wanda deliver the baby. Okay.
Immaculate Conception twins.
Yes, babies. There's
Twins.
two of them.
Right.
So one of them come up out of there, the other one come up out of there. It's like, what? She helped her have the babies. She sits them down in the cribs. They are rocking. That's cool.
Yeah.
And then she like, oh my God, they're twins. I'm a twin. And then Black Lady, who you're gonna find out is Monica, says, yeah, you got a brother. His name was Pietro. Ultron killed him. And Wanda was like, hold up,
bitch.
What? So then she started walking up on her crazy. Vision on the outside of the house is like, let me get back in here real quick. And when he goes in, the black lady is gone. And Wanda's just like, oh, she had to go. We don't know what the hell happened, but she ain't there no more. And then when Wanda turns around, Vision is dead and colorless, standing there in the living room at the doorway. And Wanda freaked right the fuck out. And he walked up like, what's wrong? And he was regular again.
Yeah, he had that hole in his natural and everything, right where, Thanos plucked that thing up.
Right where your third eye is if you was awoke.
Yeah,
my brother.
They don't Uzi be coming for you.
So Wanda just like, hey, look, everything is cool, fam. Hands him a baby. She grabs a baby. They sit down on the couch. And it's just like, let's just watch some TV. But Vision is looking like, nah, fam, something ain't right. It's in his face, but he don't say nothing. But it's definitely like, nah, fam, what happened to that black lady?
Yeah. Spoiler alert, only half like this episode. Half. It was getting better.
The world is cracking.
And everything gets better
and
after
something
this.
is happening.
Yeah. So
now, up to this point, we done seen a lot. We done seen what looks like the sword logo.
Yeah, sword logo, especially coming out of the guy that when we mentioned about that crawls up out of the sewer.
The beekeeper.
It seems like he's beekeeper because he's coming up and he got a bunch of bees and flies and shit around him.
And Wanda was like, no. And then everything just right back in the house. Like nothing happened. Okay, sure. So she can just cut a scene out, rewind the scene, do whatever she want to do inside of the sitcom because clearly she running this thing. And up to this point, man, like we have so many questions. What's going on? What the hell is happening, Blue? But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and wrap that up because that's the end of our 1 to 3 WandaVision episode recaps right here on Blerds and Clips.
Who's the
PrO3 Network? Sponsored by, hold on, what we wearing? That nice coat.
He got that nice coat. I got everything from this Unity Gaming. They game for the babies. Check out Unity Gaming.
You know what it is. So yeah, y'all make sure y'all go holler at the homies at Nice Co. Nice Co Prints, providing you with all the Fuego merchandise. You can go ahead and get their original stuff, or you can get your own merchandise printed up for your business, family reunions, gatherings, schools, etc. They handling all of that. So make sure y'all holler at the homies. We appreciate y'all for putting us together one time, and that's how we doing that thing right here at Blerds and Clips. Make sure y'all sending us questions, comments, concerns, and subjects at Blerds and Clips gmail.com. And otherwise, we're going to go ahead and sign up about this thing because we coming right back at y'all with episodes 4 through 6 for a recap. I am BKA Watts.
And I'm the Watts and Vigatron.
And we going to holler at y'all.